Let's see if we can get this thing back together and maybe it'll hold some oil in it and run. Let's find out.
I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall. And
Alright, once again for the second time. Alright, let's get this chain through the gasket. Hold down the rings again. Oil in the cylinder. Make sure our ring gaps are separated. This thing needs to get out of the way. Get the chain pulled through here. Alright, there's that. Alright, need to put the first timing chain guide in up here. There's a pocket this sits in down inside there. Gotta get that in there. Like that. Alright, just as a precaution, because that mating surface on that cylinder isn't perfect, I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to coat the head gasket. Let's hang that up there and let that dry for a little bit. Alright, just to reiterate here, the long head bolts with 12mm head, they get torqued to 18 in a crisscrossing pattern, and then after that you're going to torque again to 30.5 foot-pounds in a crisscrossing pattern. These bolts in here, this bolt and that bolt, they get torqued to 7 foot-pounds. These nuts also get torqued to 7 foot-pounds. There's also two under here, and there's one back and behind there that you got to get to. These have 10mm heads. These have 10mm heads, and this one back here is a 12mm head. These get torqued to 7 foot-pounds. This one, I'll have to look again. I'll put it up here on the screen. That one gets torqued back there, and that's a rundown of that. Alright, these get torqued to 7 foot-pounds. Tighten these to 10 foot-pounds. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to put this in again. Now I can put this in again. I can slip this thing in again. I can put this one in again. I can tighten up this clamp back in here again. Plug this in again. Put this hose back on there again. How do you really? You need a freaking 2-foot damn Phillips head. Tighten this one up again. Thanks, Suzuki. I appreciate this tight spot that you gave me here to put this on. If I had a 3-foot screwdriver, it wouldn't be hard. Put this back on here again. Spill the gas on the floor again. Okay, can't forget to add some of this. Alright, I'm getting a little anxious here. Okay, alright, let's try it. Why is it doing that? Why is it spewing the oil all over the floor? It's like spewing, it's just pouring out like something's wide open somewhere. It's just spewing oil out from behind the head, behind the jug back there. I don't understand what's going on. See the oil running, oil's running right just from back there down the side. Now, this is the kind of problems you run into when you bring in a bike that's a basket case. It's been tore apart, it's been wrecked, or whatever. When someone else is taking it apart and they bring you a box of parts, you try to put it back together, you try to figure out everything. There's parts you got to swap over from one head to another head, and there's things that are really easily overlooked. So the first time I put this thing together and I started it up and all that oil was leaking out. It was a lot of oil. And when I look in there, there's nothing that I can see that where oil would be like coming down and pooling up there. I assumed, which is my fault, I assumed that it was coming out of the cylinder base gasket, even though wisdom tells me that there's no way that that much oil could come out of that gasket right there. There's no pressure behind that. It's just crankcase pressure. So I took the engine all apart, right? Put it all back together, and now I have the exact same problem. So I'm not pulling all that back apart again. There's something else wrong, and it's something that I overlooked. It was something that I think a lot of people would overlook in this situation. Don't immediately think that you know what's wrong. Take some time, even if you got to take some more of the bike apart or whatever it is you're working on, and try to figure out exactly what the problem is. I think I figured out what I missed, and I'm going to go ahead and resolve that issue, and I'll come back and then we'll talk about that some more. Okay, I want to discuss what the oil leak was. So when I started up the bike, I saw oil running. Okay, this is the front cylinder, would be on the left side of the bike. This is forward. I saw oil here pooling up and running over and down. I wiped it all up, started the motor again. It instantly pulled up right here and started running over and down. It's kind of weird. It was a lot of, it was a high volume of oil coming out of here. I wasn't really sure what the heck was going on, so I just went ahead and replaced this gasket, because I don't know if this gasket was replaced the first time I took it apart. I just wanted to rule that whole thing out. So replace this gasket, put the bike all back together, started up, exact same oil leak. Now there is 3 heads to this bike here. There's this one, there's another one, and the one that's on the bike. And I had to decipher through all the and there's enough parts here to put 3 heads together. So I was having to decipher all these parts, trying to figure out what parts were damaged, what parts were good, which parts did I want to put on this, and everything else. And there was one freaking little part that I overlooked, and you'll never guess. Unless you work on these, then you'll know. But what it is this little ball hole right here. This little guy right there. Yeah, this little guy needs to have a bolt in it. Otherwise, oil will puke out of here, run down here, pull up here, and then run down across the motor. So yes, I didn't swap over that one little bolt. There's no free educations here. So now the bike runs without puking all of its oil on the floor, but however, there is a new problem. It only runs on one cylinder. Which cylinder is that, you might ask? No, it's not the one I put together. It's the rear cylinder doesn't fire. It's only wanting to run on the front cylinder. Let me show you. Now I'm going to unplug just the front cylinder spark plug wire. gonna plug it back in. So there's more work that needs to be done to this bike. Now, I was asked to put the cylinder on, put it in time, and get it started. And that's where I'm at. So everything's good to this point. And the cylinder that I put together, the valve lash sounds good. I don't hear any rattles or knocks or bangs. It's running good enough to keep the bike running on one cylinder. So just need to figure out if the guy wants me to continue on the rear cylinder and finish getting this bike running, or if he wants to take it home and fix it himself. But that's where I'm at. So this is extra problem. So my job here was to put the cylinder head on, put it in time, get the bike started. So that's all the work I'm going to do to this bike in this video. If I continue work on this bike, I will do a separate video, and the link will be right here in the corner of this video when that video goes public. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, and don't be afraid to fix it. Thanks for watching.